Hello and welcome back. So we are going to proceed from where we left during the last video, and that is question number 21. But before we move to question number 21, if this happens to be your first time on this channel, please take a second and tap on the subscribe button and also on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any videos that I upload. So let's get straight away to question number 21. So question number 21 states that the height of 40 athletes in a county athletics competitions were as shown in the table below. Okay, so let me draw that table quickly. Okay, so we have height, the height in centimeters, and then we have frequency. Okay, we have 150 to 159, 160 to 169, 170 to 179, 180 to 189, 190 to 199, and then 200 to 209. Then the frequencies are 2, 8, 10, then we have X, 6, and 2. Okay, so the first part of the question states that find the value of X. Okay, find the value of X. Where is X? There it is. Find the value of X. So how are we going to find the value of X? Now, if we go back to the statement, the first statement, we read that the height of 40 athletes. So these athletes are 40 in total. So that means the summation of the frequency is equal to 40, or rather the total items, for this case they are athletes, the total is 40. So all these values, their summation should be 40. So let's start adding them. So 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 10 is 20. Okay. 20 plus 8 is 28, and then plus x. Okay. So 28 plus x should be 40. So x is going to be 40 minus 28. Okay. And therefore x is equal to 12. So x is equal to 12. That is the frequency of this class. The frequency of this class is 12. So let me replace x with 12. Okay, so we have 12. Okay, so let's move on to the second part of that question. So it states that, or state the model class. So what do we mean by the model class? So when we talk about the model class, we talk about, or we mean the class that has got the highest frequency. Okay, the class that has got the highest frequency. So from this table, I can see that this class, that is 180 to 189, has got the highest frequency, which is 12. So the model class is 180 to 189. So model class is 180 to 189. Okay. So let's proceed to the next part of that question. It states that calculate the mean height of the athletes. The mean height of the athletes. So, okay, so this is a grouped set of data. And I remember some time back in the past, I created another video where we learned how to get the mean, or to estimate the mean. In fact, when we talk about a group set of data, we talk about estimating. So we learned how to estimate the mean of a grouped set of data. So I'm going to leave a link to that video so that if you never had a chance to watch it, you can get to follow that link. Okay, so what we are going to do is that we are going to create another column, and this column we're going to call it X. Let me call it X, which stands for the middle point, the midpoint of this class, the midpoint of each class. Okay, the midpoint. So when you talk about the midpoint, we're talking about 150 plus 159 and then divide it by 2. So and then we get the midpoint of that class, which is 154.5. So the reason why we do this is because we are estimating. Okay, for example, for this class 150 to 159, we have two athletes who had a height of between 150 to 159, but we don't know the exact height. We don't know whether it was 151, 154, 157. We don't know. So what we do is that we estimate, and the estimate that we are going to use is that value at the mid of that class. So that's why we are adding 150 to 159 and then divide it by 2. So that is going to be the value that we are going to use. Okay, so for this case, if we add the 2 and then divide by 2, we are going to have 164.5. Then the next one is going to be 174.5. Next is 184.5. Then 194.5, and finally 204.5. Okay, so that's the midpoint. Then what we do is that we get the product of the frequency, the frequency by x. So we're going to create another column, fx. So we are multiplying the frequency by the midpoint. Okay, so let's multiply this. 2 times 154.5 is 309. Okay, next is 1316. Then next is 1745. Then next is 2214. Then we have 1167, and finally we have 409. So now the formula that we use to estimate the mean, or to get the mean, we are going to, so let me write here, the mean is equal to the summation of fx, okay, divided by the summation of the frequency. So we have this column fx, so we are going to get the summation of this column fx, and then after we have done that, we divide by the summation of f, which was 40. So let's add this all together. We have, okay, or even you can use your calculators, you can pause the video and add all these values together, and I can see that it's going to be, the summation is going to be 7,160. So we have the summation of fx, so it's 1,760, not 1,000, sorry, but 7,000, okay, 7,000, sorry, 7,160, and then we divide by the summation of f, which is 40. So when we divide these, we're going to get 179. So that is centimeters, because we were given the values in centimeters. So that is the mean height of these athletes. So let's proceed to the final part of that question, which states that calculate the median height correct to 1 decimal place of the athletes. The median height. So when we talk about the median height, it's that height that is at the middle of all these heights, okay? And how are we going to get that height? So in fact, I can clear this. Let me clear this so that we can get some enough space. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to create another column. Okay, that I'm going to name a column that I'm going to name CF. So CF stands for cumulative frequency. So what do we mean by cumulative frequency? So what we're going to do is that we're going to add each of these frequencies, okay, the frequency of the first class plus the frequency of the second class all the way downwards up to the last class. This is what I mean. So for the first class, we're going to have 2. Then for the next class, we're going to have 2 plus 8, which is 10. And then for the other one, we're going to have 10 plus 10, it's going to be 20. 20 plus 12 is going to be 32. 32 plus 6 is going to be 38. And finally, 38 plus 2 is going to be 40. Okay, that is what we talk about. That is what we mean by the cumulative frequency. And you should note that the summation of the frequency should be equal to the cumulative frequency of the last class. So you see 40 and 40. Okay, then what we do, so next we are going to get our median class. Which is our median class, or how do we identify our median class? So what we do is that, so we said the median is in between, okay? So the class that is in between, okay? So what we are going to do, we are going to, okay, or rather when we talk about median class, it is the class where the median is. So what we are going to do, we are going to divide the frequency by 2, okay, so that we get the value that is at the center. So 40 divided by 2 is 20. Okay, so the 20th term is our median. The 20th term is our median. So let's identify where our 20th term is. So from 2 to 10, okay, or this class has only 2 terms and the last term is the second term. So what about this class? The last term is 10. So from 11, or from the 11th term, they are in this class. Okay, the 11th term all the way to the 20th term. So 20, or that our 20th term is in this class. Okay, from the 21st term all the way to the 32nd term, they are in the next class. So we have identified our median class, which is this one, 170 to 179. So after we have identified that class, we use the formula. Okay, there's a formula that we use to get the mean, or the median, sorry. So what we say is that the lower class limit of median class, okay, plus, so let me have one big bracket, plus a half of the frequency, let me just write it, a half of the frequency minus the cumulative frequency of the class preceding the median class, okay, and then all these divided by the frequency of the median class, okay, and then we multiply by the class width. Okay, I know the formula seems complicated, but you realize that it's actually a very simple formula. So this is what we do. Let's start with the lower class limit of the median class. So we have identified our median class, which is this one, 170 to 179. So which is our which is the lower class limit? So for every class, there is the lower limit and the upper limit. So to get the lower limit, okay, the lower limit of this class, we are going to add 170 to 169, and then we divide by 2. Okay, so it's going to be 169 plus 170 divided by 2, and it's going to be 169.5. So that is the lower class limit, 169.5 of our median class. So we're going to have 169.5 plus, okay, a half of the frequency. Frequency was 40, okay, or is 40. So a half of the frequency is 20, okay, and then minus the cumulative frequency of the class preceding the median class. So we have our median class. Our median class, the cumulative frequency of our median class is 20, but that is not what we want. We want the cumulative frequency of the class preceding the median class. So the class preceding the median class is this one, 160 minus 160 to 169. So which has a cumulative frequency of 10. So that 10 is what we are going to use. So it's 20 minus 10, and then we divide it by the frequency of the median class. Which is the frequency of the median class? The frequency of the median class is 10. Okay, the frequency of the median class is 10. So we divide by 10, and then we multiply by the class width. How do we get the class width? The class width is found by we get it by subtracting or getting the difference between the upper limit and the lower limit. So we have the lower limit, which is 169.5. What about the upper limit? So for the upper limit, we add this one to this one, 179 to 180. So it's going, and then we divide it by 2. So 179 plus 180, and then we divide it by 2, it's going to be 179.5. And then we subtract 179.5 minus 169.5. And this is going to be 10. So the class width is 10. Okay, the class width is 10 that way. And that is how we are going to get the median height of these athletes. So let's work this out. It's going to be 169.5 plus, okay, we're going to have 20 minus 10 is 10. Then 10 divided by 10 is 1. Okay. So we have 1 inside the bracket, and then we're multiplying it by 10. So it's going to be 169.5 plus 1 times 10 is 10. And this is going to be 179.5. So in that centimeters, and that is going to be our median height, the median height of these athletes. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to create another video where I will teach you, or we shall learn how to get the median of a grouped set of data. I know it seems somehow complicated, but once I create that video, you will have understood everything about the median of a grouped set of data. So for now, let me leave it at that. Let's meet in that video. So goodbye, and thank you so much for watching.